Not be an easier game on the schedule than this one. Welcome into the Toyota Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships for the DNVR Avalanche pregame show. Avs taking on the San Jose Sharks. We got Big E and Rudo coming to you live before the game. On the Sharks side, look, they still have MacKinnon Celebrini, but that is a depleted roster tonight. Multiple players traded out over the last 48 hours. Multiple players either just traded or expected to be traded very soon, so held out of the lineup for one reason or another. It's pretty thin. It's pretty thin on that San Jose side.
And that's why it's important that they, meaning the Avalanche, you get down to business right away when the puck drops. You know what I mean? The puck drops, you get down to business. There's no messing around. This is the exact point that we try to make all the time about, like, don't let teams hang around. Don't. This is still the National Hockey League. This is still a team that's been decent, obviously, on this road trip. But like you said tonight, they're missing a couple guys because of the trade deadline. So you're talking about extra veterans that are being held out or traded this morning, or all the above. So, and again, they should be fatigued a little bit. This is their 7th game of a 7-game road trip. Get on them. No messing around. No gifts. Get down to business and just attack them.
On the flip side of that, this is probably the healthiest game of the season for the Avs lineup. Manson expected to be back in. Jimmy Vesey expected to draw in as well on the forward side. That's it. That's your lineup. Your only injured guy is Gabe Landeskog and Sean Behrens, I guess, if you want to count him. But that's a healthy Colorado Avalanche lineup for maybe the second game this season where you've really had what you would consider your full lineup.
And that's why it's important. That's why it's important because, yes, this is a team you should prey on. You know what I mean? Not because they're Sharks, because this is a team that you should beat. But also because you only have 20-something games left for you to get to your,
20,
your rhythm.
Bang on 20, I think.
Bang on 20, bang on 20, sorry. To get to what is your team. You probably may have one more game. Maybe this is the last game. Maybe there's more added before Saturday. But then again, you only have so much time, so much to build chemistry, to build situational, plays and special teams and all the above. You know what I mean? You shore up everything. So it means business. This is not a beer league game tonight. This is a National Hockey League game. So you make sure you're on top of it. But you're right. It is pretty much a healthy lineup. It's important to show up, and it's important to do the right things because there's no more excuses. There's no more, don't know this. Even if you're new, Lindgren, Vesey, you got to figure out the systems right away. You got to get out there and not be a liability, but be a difference maker on the positive side.
So I want to talk about this briefly. I don't know how much it really has an impact on tonight's game, but obviously Altitude interviewed Gabe Landeskog earlier today. They had a chat with him. Gabe saying he's skating 3 or 4 times a week. He's hopeful about the future and excited about the future. One, do you think it's realistic that Landeskog plays again? 2, does something like this matter at all to the room? And Landeskog didn't really give you a solid answer on anything in this interview, but does that fire up the guys a little bit that Landeskog's showing his face publicly like that, or is this just for later type of thing?
No, I like it. We've been talking about this, especially on this show. We leave it alone, right? Because we respect his privacy.
Everything that's been said has been said, yeah.
And again, it's going to be on his term. I think Chris has done a wonderful job always keeping everything afloat. When he does his conferences, he's always asked about it, and he always has an answer. And I think this answer has always been the same. it's on Gabe's terms and on Gabe's medical staff and the training staff of the Avalanche and how his body feels, reacts, and goes about all that stuff. Everyone wants to see a return. Do I believe there will be a return? Yes. Am I excited to see a return? Yes. Is he one of my all-time favorites? You know, I worked in the front office, obviously, when we drafted him. Yes, one of my all-time favorites. Great person, deserves to be back, deserves to come back. I can't wait till he does. When is that? I don't know. You know, again, we'll see. But I do believe he makes a comeback, and you know, and again, it's going to be so fun to watch. If there's one person that can do it, it's him. To what extent, I don't know. Time will tell, and I think the play will tell. But looking forward to again seeing him, you know, with an interview today, which is very, you know, it's telling. You know what I mean? And then cross your fingers, and then hope that you see him next time with a jersey on and not, you know, street clothes.
Yep. Look, obviously, I don't think there was really anything new in this interview. We talked about it. At very least, Gabe Landeskog believes he can return. If he thought it was done, he would say so.
Exactly.
So he thinks he can make it back. What does that look like? We'll wait and see. Did want to get that in there. Chat, I see you talking about the trade rumors. Save it. Save it for tomorrow. We're going to be live all day tomorrow talking trades. So tonight, let's focus on the Avs game. Let's focus on the Sharks. The Avs looking to stay perfect on this homestand, looking to go 4-0. They really should be set up. You have to win this game. We've talked a lot about, the Avs are the better team. They should win this year. I know I brought that up a lot. There is no excuse. This depleted Sharks team, this is the worst team in the NHL. There is no reason you should not blow this team out tonight, if we're being honest about it.
And again, I always say it, I tell you all the time, I do like I do like where the Sharks are going. You know, they're minus 70 in goal defense, or whatever it is that they are. But they've played pretty good the last 6 games. And I did talk to MacKinnon this morning, obviously.
Pretty good is a relative
not
term,
a big deal.
To be fair.
Not a big deal. Terrier, BU Terrier. But, you know.
You're not even a terrier.
No, but still, wannabe terrier. You know, talk about, like, they've played a pretty good road trip. They fell down 2-0 in Toronto. They came back. What is it, a shootout that they won or overtime? I don't remember. They all blend in the games right now. I watch too many games every night. But he said they're playing pretty good. And they had some good veterans in Tyler Toffoli and guys like that. Guys that are been good to the kids. Will Smith is starting to pick it up right now. So they do have some power. They do have some skill. So you got to be careful. But you're right. This is not a game you should drop. Because if you're playing right, you're doing the right things, you're playing with the details, playoff mentality, you shouldn't lose this game.
You just rattled off 4 reasons why, but give me the 3 keys as to why the Avs, or not why, but how the Avs can win this game.
This is very simple for me.
It should be.
Yeah,
it really should be.
Very simple for me because I can't read, as we know. There they are, but I can't see right now.
This guy can't read.
Gas. I can't read. I can't see. Key number 1, gas pedal on display. It's so important that you don't play down to the competition. National Hockey League game, yes, check mark. But it's the last team. It's a last place team. There's no playing down to the competition. Create your own passion. Create your own intensity. Please, I don't want to be talking about the game after the game that, you didn't produce offensively, you should have got involved, emotionally, physically in the game. So please create your own passion and intensity. Get at it right from the puck drop. Speed is deadly. Use the speed to really expose their Ds. There's not a lot of depth there. Expose their lineup. Get offense from below the goal line. I talk about this all the time. This is where you got to expose their forward core and their D core. Make them make decisions. Make them turn their feet, and then they're all of a sudden looking at each other and not sure about what's going on. And that's how you create stuff, as we saw the other day, Lecky's goal. Get to the middle. Rudo said it. Get to the slot. That's where you get goal scored from the middle of the ice. Number 3, make it count. 4 in a row at home. 4 in a row at home. We are... Key number 3, make it count, because, it's a 6-game homestand. The Avalanche want to make sure that they're, keep going on their streaking, and they want to make sure we see Frank the Tank again. And then, San Jose, again, this is the 7th game of their road trip. We want to make sure that the fatigue is going to set in for the Sharks at some point. have the details in all three zones. And again, respect them. As we just mentioned, they are 2-2-2 on their road trip. So those are the three keys for the night. We get that going, should be a W for them.
You always talk about the 3 and 4s. You kind of mentioned it at the end there. A 7-game road trip, that's pretty brutal. Especially when you look at San Jose's road trip. A lot of that was on the East Coast, and now they're swinging out west at the end of it. Here's my fear. Here's my fear tonight. We see teams sometimes at the end of these trips, especially with all the moving parts. Is there any fear that that galvanizes San Jose a little bit tonight, that they say, hey, nobody's expecting us to win, so we should step up?
100%. And make no mistake, this team is now Macklin Celebrini's team, Will Smith, guys like that. This has turned into the young guns team. They will be an unbelievable hockey team here coming up in a few years. And when you're at the end of the season like this, and it's tough to play because you know you're out. You know you're out of the playoffs. It's hard. It's hard for Tyler Toffoli. It's hard for guys like that. But you look at this little cookie right there. 7-game road trip. You go win a game on the road in Colorado, Game 7. Makes your trip 3-2-2. Yep. Pretty solid trip. That's a win. Yep. That's their win for the season. That's their big thing. And then they're measuring themselves up against MacKinnon, the rest of the guys. So very important that these guys are not going to hand you the game tonight. They will not. They will not hand you anything. So I think you got to be weary of them. That's why you got to be on your toes. That's why you got to be on top of your game. You can't look at who you're playing. This is a playoff-type mentality game for the Avalanche, and you have to get down to it right away.
All right, well, a lot of moving parts in this game for both teams with the Avs players drawing back in. Jared Bednar talked a little bit about the guys coming in the lineup and the shakeups the Avs have had in his morning skate presser. So let's hear what Coach had to say about this one.
All right, go ahead. Question for Jared.
Looks like Josh Manson's in.
He is.
How nice is it to have him back?
It's good. It's it's gonna be great. It's gonna be huge. Like, obviously, we've been without him for a long time and a little thin on the back end, and to add another guy, physical, big, strong defender, guy with a lot of experience, and then adding Lindgren into that mix. I'm excited to see what that group looks like.
Do you consider playing them together tonight?
Yeah, they'll play some time together for sure. I think with those guys all in the lineup, it'd be nice to see them all kind of rotate around a little bit and see what we have and get them used to one another a little bit instead of just sticking with certain pairs and partners. I think we have a good group back there that we can kind of mix around and use them to their strengths. So I think you'll see. Hopefully moving forward you'll see, those guys playing with one another throughout the group.
When you had Nate on this 17-point home streak, what we talked about consistency with him. What else are you seeing during the streak? Why does he go off at home like that? I mean, it's another long streak by him.
I don't know. It's hard to just pick out little details too of his game that he's doing well, but I mean, he's playing well, he's playing hard, and he's showing up to compete every night. That's the big thing, right? It's preparation, it's being consistent in what you do and showing up and competing to win. Last game is perfect example of that. I thought we were a little sleepy at times, and I didn't think everyone was firing on all cylinders. The game showed that, but the one guy that stood out to me right away at the start of the game that was trying to make a difference on both sides of the puck was Nate. So he was helping be the driving force of that again. And I mean, if you're prepared and ready to compete like that for 60 minutes, a guy with his talent and ability is going to get something done.
Is this another MVP-worthy season from him?
No question. Yeah, no question. I think you look at the adversity that our teams face with injuries and, just the number of guys that we've had in the lineup, the fight we've been in, a lot of the, credit should go to, those top guys and the consistent seasons they're having, and Nate's certainly driving that bus again this year.
Can you say who's going to be coming out for Manson?
I can. I'm not going to tell you.
At forward, will Jimmy BC make his debut today?
He will.
With that back end, you got Lindgren and Manson come back in, if you decide to go with Middleton, that's a pretty different makeup than what we've seen over the last couple of seasons. Is that what you guys have been wanting to try to get to, is have a little bit more of an even split between kind of that bigger, meaner, as well as having the puck moving, guys like Caleb?
I think it's important that you can play any style game, right? So, I mean, we want our skill guys to play as mean and physical as they have within themselves, and we want our big, strong guys to move the puck to the best of their ability. And, you got to kind of be able to do it all and be able to play any style game, because you never know who you're facing and what the games are going to be like come playoff time. So you want to be well-rounded.
How would you describe, from on the day of the trade to now, how Martin Netchis and Jack Drury have kind of settled in?
Yeah, I think they're both doing a really good job. Marty's played some really good games for us. Obviously, he's been productive. I look at his games as a whole, and there's only been a couple that I didn't like, and one of them he was sick in, So I like what he's doing. I think he still has room to grow with their team and keep advancing his game as an individual, and then also how it helps his line. They're still sort of figuring that out. And I think Jack's been solid, rock solid defensively, no question, and he finds a way to chip in here and there on the offensive side of it. He's had some different line mates as well, but his role is he's come in and done what he's done as advertised. Yeah, I'm impressed with his game.
What are you hoping to see in BC in his out-of-state game?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I want to see him fit in with his line and play to a certain identity, which has been his identity as a pro. He's a big body guy that can skate. He's got decent hands around the net. There's a physicality and bite to his game that I like. And he's been a responsible defender. So kind of the same as, that whole, our third and fourth lines, however you want to shake them out, that they play really well within the structure of the game, but then they're still really hard to play against because of their relentless puck pursuit and physicality. And I think he fits in nicely with that group.
Ryan Warsofsky.
Yeah.
Ryan Warsofsky's he's been going through it this year, and he said that he's leaned on you for advice. What you went through your first year as Avs coach, what are some of the things that you have imparted to him from your first year that you learned?
It's not easy, I'll tell you that, because what happens is he's got his guys playing hard, right, and they're playing well and not always getting the results that you would like, and but they've improved as a team. So I think you got to take those small victories and understand what it is. It's a team that's building and growing, and you want to try and keep imparting, get your team to focus on the right things and that they're playing the right way with the right kind of habits, and eventually the results will come. It's hard to keep a team that's losing all the time positive, so I think you got to coach them hard, but you also have to reset every day and just kind of take on the challenge of the day and kind of make sure that your attitude is right, and again, focusing on the right things. So it's frustrating because you want your guys to get rewarded for the right type of play, and it doesn't always come, but I think you got to still kind of take the positives out of that, but still being hard on guys when you need to be if they're not doing the right things. So I know, Morris has a really good demeanor when it comes to that. He's a smart coach, and, they've made huge improvements this year, even with losing key players throughout the course of this season. I think you're kind of always a little bit focused on the future, and that's the way it has to be.
You mentioned how well it's kind of gone for you guys with Jack and Marty coming here. I don't know if you've seen, there's a lot of rumors thrown around that Carolina might be trying to flip Mikko again. I just don't know if you had any thoughts on how it's gone a little bit differently for that.
I don't think that's because of Mikko's play, he certainly didn't get moved out of here because of his play. I don't think if he got moved out of Carolina, it's not because of his play. This is more of a business situation. I try not to get involved in other teams' business because I'm not, privy to all the details that it takes. So I really don't want to comment on it, but again, I think, just looking at Mikko's game, he's played well since he's been there. He was a little snake bit at first. Now the production's starting to come. I think he's a fit on any team in the league, including Carolina. So, again, I think it's just more of that's just the business side of hockey at this point.
A few last ones. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there you go. Bedsy said, you know what? It's about time we've had a healthy lineup. We've had, I don't want to say all the pieces because I think there might be a couple new pieces tomorrow. But look, this is a team that's in that portion of the season we've been talking about all year. They survived the first portion. You would have liked them to do a better job putting themselves in position early in the year. They haven't. Now they've gone 3-0 on this homestand, looking to make it 4-0 tonight. They might have procrastinated to the last minute, but you can still get an A on this paper, E.
I think it's how you finish, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not how you start, right? They always say that. Look at golf. You could have a bad drive in the woods and, you make a second shot, then you make a great shot, then one putt.
Make that par.
Right.
Yeah.
You make that par. You make it birdie, whatever it is. The Avalanche, for me, we didn't know how we all summer we talked about it. We didn't know how this was going to play out, right? With Gabe and Val and those situations and how they're going to respond to this. And we know they were looking to shore up their goaltending, and they couldn't do it at the trade deadline last year. They couldn't do it all summer. This is not a secret. It's a fact. This is not a scoop. Everyone knows that. And then you start the season, and with all the injuries they had, they couldn't afford to have bad goaltending. Yeah. And then thank God, at some point they fixed it on the fly, not once but twice. And I think that right there gives you a good grade. You know what I mean? Because, and then just the way they dealt with injuries, the way coaching staff dealt with it, it's a good grade. I do believe this is going to be a good finish. I think the paper is going to be awesome. Might turn that into a bestseller. Who knows, right? You know what I mean? You get into the dance. You have the players that they have. You can go to the dance and absolutely come out there and be, prom king and queen, all that kind of stuff, right? Because that's the goal. That's always been the goal here, and that's why they're doing everything, and they got another 24 hours to do so.
Okay. Looking at tonight, I want to talk about the scoring, E. Obviously, it's been fine. They've won 3 games in a row.
Trying to see if it's blue,
I've been drinking it for a minute. So.
Sorry, yeah.
It's kind of blue still.
It turns blue.
Look, last 2 games, you've played well. You got one proper depth goal from Ross Colton. His other goal was an empty netter. You got an empty netter from Jack Drury the other night. You got a goal from Middlestat, but it was on the power play. What do the Avs need to do tonight to get that depth scoring at 5-on-5?
I tell you all the time because, again, I was a player. I worked in development for a franchise, the Avalanche.
Had a hat trick once, I heard.
Who's asking? Is that you asking? Are you asking? All right, just in case. Worked in development for the Avs, right? When in the early years of when teams really started to put some money into this. And I say it all the time. I said it last week. Consistency is the toughest thing to achieve as a young player in the National Hockey League. Now, as a young team, consistency as a group is always a hard thing to do. The Avalanche this year, I just feel that consistency on the depth scoring and the intensity of the bottom of the lineup, I think just because the revolving door, record number of players, right? I think with Jimmy tonight, I think it's 45.
It's 44.
44 franchise record, correct?
Yep.
So,
well, I don't know about Avs record for sure. I'm not sure about Quebec. But.
Well, whatever, Avs record. And I think somebody was telling me on a different TSN yesterday that he was on part of a team back then, the Bruins, like 54 players. I mean, I'm like, holy crap. Like, this is nuts. But anyway, I think consistency for those guys, the depth scoring, like, you got to achieve it. You got to attain it. You can't go another 15. Hey, listen, if the Avs go on a 15 gamer like they did, I'm talking about depth wise, like, forget besides the last 4 or 5 games, boy, they're in trouble. They're going to be in trouble. I don't foresee it. I think that it was not normal. For example, Ross to go, big goal for 15 and not normal. When you play, it's not normal. And then, Logan went like 1 for 15. I mean, Bednar talked about it. He said they all came at the same time. Hopefully that's behind them. You saw it a little bit on the special teams. You saw it a little bit. Now you want to make sure you see it all the time at 5-on-5. And I think why not keep going and start, not start because they've started a few games ago, but keep it up on a game like tonight where, you can gain some confidence. Not that I'm bagging on the San Jose Sharks. It's just that they're right there to be taken, right? I mean, that's reality.
All right. You say it's right there to be taken. He bust out the crystal ball. Give me a name. Give me some numbers.
Boy, oh boy. I'm sticking to my horse from a couple games ago. I'm going to stick to Val. You know what I mean? Like
I was tempted to pick him tonight.
Yeah,
too.
I'm picking him. I'm going Val multiple points. You know, it could be 3 or 4.
Yep.
I mean, I think this is a 5-0 drubbing of the Avalanche. That's my call.
I'm in that. I'm picking 4-zip again. I like the 4-zip
I would have
number.
liked like 7 or
Yeah.
8, you know, because.
I would like that, but I'm trying to be a little more realistic.
But I'll
than
give
that.
Georgiev the game against your former team and, you know, whatever. So I'll give him a little bit of slack.
You know Kovalenko's getting a point tonight, so just accept this 4-1 instead.
I'm going 5-0.
I'm going to take 4-0. I am going to stick to my my depth portion here, though. I'm going to go... you know what? Let's have fun with it. I'm going to go VC. I'm going to go Jimmy VC to put one in tonight. Make his mark. You're drawn into the Avs lineup.
Big Daddy Jimmy Vesey.
Going with that. Gonna hope for the best on that lineup. It really is the night where the Avs should be the better team. And maybe they aren't. Maybe things go that way. We'll have that for you in the post game. But let's see where I put my money where my mouth is with our pregame picks from Bet365, where it was never ordinary. His pick was spot on for this one. I took Val as an anytime goal scorer, plus 170. So pretty good money on an anytime Val bet. I also did take the under, though. I do think this game's going to be under 6, not because the Avs aren't going to score, but because San Jose is going to struggle to put the puck in the back of the net.
So there you go.
That works. And I took, honestly, I think this is a really good bet. I know San Jose's bad. I know they're not in a good spot. It's not that hard to get 22 saves in a hockey game.
It's not that hard. If the Avs jump up to a 3-4 nothing lead,
back.
then they'll sit back. They'll have that. They'll have 30, right? You know,
That's what I'm
the
saying.
way it is.
So
it's not a bad bet.
Even money to get to 22 saves, not that hard.
Not a bad bet.
So a couple of decent options there. Of course, you can put a ton of other bets in on Bet365. Whatever you're feeling, whether it's Avs, other hockey games, or other sports entirely, do with them. Of course, when you do gamble at Bet365, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. All right. Yeah, as chat is talking about, the official forward scratch for the night is Miles Wood. And then Malinsky draws out of the lineup for, I believe it's Malinsky that draws out of the lineup for Manson to come back in.
Yep. And Middleton, right?
And Middleton's in for Shilly. I mean,
Middleton's in for
fix that
Shilly.
however you want. I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, Middleton's in for Shilly. Whatever.
Yeah.
Manson.
What do you? I know you were the big defender of this. You like a little bit more grit. You like a little bit more heavy. You're running Lindgren, Manson, Middleton, all in your bottom 6 or bottom 4, I should say. At what point is too much physicality on the table here, or do you like the Middleton edition tonight too?
No, I think, you know, I'm not going to start the rumor mill. I'm not. What I'm going to say, Middleton's in probably because he hasn't played for a few games and he wants the guys keep fresh now. And again, I like Sam Malinsky. I hope he does not get traded. But sometimes you look at it this way. If you look around the league, you see guys are being held out like tonight, kind of, guys from the.
There might be some to that.
There might be some to that too, because maybe that's an asset you're using to go get player X. I don't know. I don't want to start. I'm saying there's so many things that you'll never know. They'll never tell you, and they shouldn't tell you. It's none of your business. You know what I mean? But you can't read too much into it sometimes. And I think that you'll see, like he said, I don't think you'll see Lindgren and Middleton all night together. You know what I mean? I think you'll see a little bit of mismatch.
You'll see some
and I think you're going to see,
sure. I agree
again,
with that.
they have to find that chemistry there. They got 20 games to figure it out. Which one and where does it fit well?
Again, Lindgren played 20 minutes the other night. Remember, Bednar's not using him as a third pairing guy out here. And he trusts Gerard to play those minutes when Manson's playing well. He certainly trusts those minutes. So there's a lot of options in the Avs' bottom 6 defense. We are inside of 10 minutes to puck drop here, so we are going to wrap up this pregame show, though. We appreciate all y'all hanging out. Join us for the watch-along, and at very least, join us for the postgame afterward. We'll break down whatever happens for you. We appreciate y'all. We will see you in a couple of minutes. This has been the DNVR Avalanche pregame show.
We all silly like the mayor.